More City of Tshwane assets went up in flames today as the wage increase impasse between the municipality and workers intensified. Several municipal buses and vehicles were torched and stoned after the Tshwane mayor reiterated his stance not to pay salary increases. This comes after renewed tensions at the Tshwane House, with EFF members staging a protest against the mayor and Action SA threatening to table a motion against the Tshwane mayor for failing to pay the workers.
Tshwane House on shaky grounds as anarchy is unleashed on Tshwane, the mayor unshaken.
If we pay those salary increases today, we would destabilize the finances of the city to such an extent that we won't be able to make payroll in a few months' time.
And some retaliated. More city assets were attacked, buses stoned and burned, windows broken. All buses have since been withdrawn, leaving commuters stranded.
The City of Tshwane wishes to express its condemnation in the strongest terms regarding the latest violent attack on its properties.
The attacks on Tshwane vehicles and property comes a day after an EFF protest outside Tshwane offices to force the mayor to pay salary increases.
We're going to make Tshwane ungovernable so that our demands are met, because the workers must be given their money, they must be reinstated.
We are saying they have to find the money, make sure that they collect revenue above 90% month on month so that they're able to service all their debt.
We councillors who still stay in the townships don't feel safe anymore, because the reality on the ground is that there is no service delivery.
And a standoff between Action SA and the EFF. The Red Berets accuse Action SA of selling out the workers. Political tensions reached boiling point inside Tshwane Council after Action SA brought a motion against the Tshwane mayor. Action SA also want a deputy mayor position despite the financial challenges in the city.
We don't have a problem with exercising your right as a city, but we are coalition partners in Tshwane. We are not bystanders. We are not capping them here. We are partners, and we need to be consulted on such things. So
were you not consulted?
They took a decision to go to the Labour Court without consulting us.
We see this as extremely backhanded, and we see it as opportunistic politics. And our stance as the DA is that Action SA needs to decide: are they a party that's in government, or are they a party that's in opposition?
Some of the workers are now accusing the DA and Action SA of exploiting the plight of the workers for political mileage. But the union SAMU says they remain unfazed by the political tricks.
We have been fighting our own battles, and we continue to fight our own battles. Remember that for many years we are known as SAMU to be engaged in very fierce battles with our own employer in the City of Tshwane here, and we have always been vindicated. We have always come out on top.
Despite the pressure and cracks in the multi-party coalition, the mayor says he is ready for the next fight at the CCMA through the city manager.
For instance, the bargaining council says that the City of Tshwane is in financial distress. They actually use those words, but somehow they believe that the city has money which we don't have. So that opens that decision to review. We're not breaching the bargaining council, a process we're taking it on review.
The plight of the Tshwane workers now lies in the hands of the CCMA, but this too might not be an easy mitigation battle, as the Tshwane mayor plans to even challenge the outcome of the CCMA if the body rules in favor of the Tshwane workers.
All right, let's chat to the DA Tshwane Caucus spokesperson, Kwena Moloto, on the impasse between Action SA and the DA. A very good evening to you. Kwena, thanks as always for being with us here on SABC News, sir.
No, thank you so much for having me.
All right, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it all, I want to start here. It seems as though, this is a major test for the DA and Action SA's coalition in Tshwane. Let's talk about, how this might affect this coalition, because it does seem that the party you represent is quite upset by what's transpired.
Yeah, no, look, I do think this is a major test for our coalition government in the City of Tshwane. As the DA, we're still completely
committed to making this coalition work, and we believe that with the multi-party coalition, we can really begin or continue to turn around the city and fix the finances that have been having a negative impact across every aspect of the municipality.
Yeah.
However, sorry, yes?
No, I wasn't interrupting you. I was listening.
Oh, and I think from our side, we're very disappointed with the actions of Action SA in yesterday's council meeting. As per our coalition agreement, if a party within the coalition intends on bringing a motion to council, it first must be presented to the joint caucus. Now, we had a joint caucus meeting before our council meeting. The motion in question that Action SA submitted to the speaker wasn't brought to our attention, and we had to find out through the speaker of council on the day. Now, there were many issues with this motion, but we consider this essentially a de facto motion of no confidence in our executive mayor. Action SA has said that, and via this motion, that the executive mayor must negotiate with unions based on what they deem is the union's legitimate requests. And we completely disagree with this. The requests are that we pay a 5.5% wage increase. We simply cannot afford it. We've stated many times it would bankrupt the city. The union's requests are that we reinstate the 130 workers that were let go of for destruction and for participating in a legal strike. And we've made it very clear that that is a labor dispute and that political organizations should not get involved. For us, we were shocked, we were caught off guard, and we feel stabbed in the back because the reality is Action SA has been a part of this process from the very beginning. They have engaged with via the MMCs in the drafting of the budget that was then presented to council, and their own councillors voted for this budget that included the 0% increase. And so for us, it's just cheap politicking, it's flip-flopping, and for us, we'd rather, in all honesty, be in the opposition benches rather than work with a party that's going to flow with political winds. We have to be guided by principle. We still believe this coalition can work, but Action SA cannot play governing party and opposition party at the same time, they need to make a decision.
In your agreement with Action SA, and you talk about the coalition agreement, also I'm reading a statement here on DA's own website that Action SA acted without consulting the multi-party coalition. When you guys have these sorts of agreements, there's usually some sort of consequence for stepping out of these sort of agreements. Did you have any of that in writing, or do you suppose that these agreements that you have were perhaps in good faith, what you would consider good faith, and you thought that that everybody would sort of toe the line in terms of the multi-party coalition?
No, look, a lot of what we do is working off good faith, and we feel that we've been good coalition partners. If you look at, for example, the report that was brought to council yesterday in regards to the deputy executive mayor, it was a coalition agreement, a position that Action SA was promised as a result of the coalition agreement, and we stuck by them, and we attempted to push that through council yesterday. And so our belief is that on our side, we have acted in good faith because for us, this is about delivering services to the residents of Tshwane, and we do believe that this multi-party coalition is best suited to do so. But they have acted in bad faith, and so we have escalated this matter to our national leadership. There's a structure called the COG, which is all of the national leaders of parties represented in the coalition government. And as a result, Action SA has withdrawn their motion, has written to us and verbally promised to withdraw their motion, and time will tell if they do. But our stance is very clear. We will not vote for that motion. The reality is that, one, it would hurt our labor court dispute. It has the potential to bankrupt the city. And Action SA, it's underhanded. They know that they were part of this process from the very beginning, and just because things are getting tough, It's not leadership to turn around. We are suddenly starting to see, services returning inside the city of Tshwane. Waste is starting to be collected. But today we saw violence for the first time in a very, very long time. And I put it down for the political stunts that were pulled by Action SA and the EFF yesterday. So we call upon Action SA to, in good faith, work with this coalition government, stop trying to play politics. This is not about electioneering. We understand 2024 is around the corner, but this is about delivering residents services to our residents. We are in government and they are in government, and they need to start acting like a party that's in government and not an opposition party.
Mr. Moloto, what is fundamentally wrong with Action SA saying that wages should be increased in Tshwane? Surely those workers would be happy with that. I hear you saying it's politicking, but is it? And you say that it has the potential to bankrupt the city. What proof do you have of that? What informs the viewpoint that this would bankrupt the city? Based on what?
So there are two elements I want to touch on in regards to the politicking. The first one is that Action SA's narrative publicly has that we need to begin engaging with the unions. Now, they know full well that for the past few months, we've been engaging with the unions. This wasn't a sudden turn of events. Engagements with the union started in the beginning of this year when we made our intentions clear that we wouldn't be able to, as a municipality, afford to pay the increases. And even between now and the 27th of July, there was 5 engagements with unions, 1 with CCMA. And so there has been engagement. And the narrative they're trying to drive is that we're unwilling to engage with unions, and it's not true. All we're saying is that we are unwilling to engage at gunpoint. It can't be that infrastructure is being destroyed, that 2 municipal employees have been shot. We're not willing to engage under those circumstances. Now, in regards to your question regarding the increases, our budget is already underfunded by 3 billion rand. To meet the demands of the unions, we'd need to increase our wage bill by 600 million rand. It's something we simply can't do. And if we were to, that 600 million rand would have to come from funds earmarked for service delivery to our residents. And that's something that, as the Democratic Alliance, we are completely unwilling to do. Our focus has to be on delivering services to our residents. And we do want to be a government that can pay wage increases. But the reality is, and it's been made clear on multiple occasions, is that the city of Tshwane is, like many municipalities across the country, under very tough financial circumstances. But unlike other municipalities across the country that are now needing to use pension funds to pay municipal employees who are paying employees late because they caved in to union demand, we're saying we don't want that here. Let's not see layoffs. Let's not see late payments of salaries. Let's rebuild the finances of the city so that we can be a government that is able to honor such agreements. But the reality is right now we just simply cannot, without having a massive negative impact on service delivery in Tshwane.
All right, Mr. Moloto, many thanks to you. That's Kwena Moloto, DA Tshwane Caucus spokesperson, talking to us there about that impasse between the DA and Action SA at the moment.